whoever you are, wherever you are, I hope you are blessed and doing safe. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings, family. Of course, I'm tuning in. You see me without the glasses off today, but if you're looking for some opportunities, particular advertisement opportunities, then look no further at the link at the bottom to my email address. You can hit me up for advertisement opportunities. We are supporting and promoting your businesses here on this channel. You can also, if you would like to donate and subscribe to our Patreon, a link is at the bottom as well. So you have multiple ways in which you can advertise with the platform by emailing me when we go on do our live stream. You also have access to premium content, those that want to see premium content that you will not find here on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, as I am suspended probably by now. You guys can check out the Patreon at link at the bottom. But advertisement opportunities, definitely email me, gavin.grich1@gmail.com for rates. And for the Patreon, it is the same as the YouTube channel. It is channel gboot2786. All right, I'll holla. Peace.
Hi, I'm attorney Gavin M. Richard. Check out my latest book, The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., The Destruction of Due Process in America. For approximately 2 years now, I have gone on a painstaking quest to investigate the rise and fall of an American icon, Bill Cosby. In the mid-1980s, there was not a star that was higher than Cosby. Advertisements with Coca-Cola, Jello, Kodak, along with the #1 television show for 5 straight years in a row. On Thursday nights, it was must-see TV on NBC. Cosby resurrected the genre of the traditional family sitcom that was once thought dead by television critics. He did this as a Black American with an all-Black cast and showed mainstream network executives in white America that it was possible to be successful without showing the worst in people. He also demonstrated the power that television had, as it can make younger people dream to be the best that they can be. However, like many celebrity stars, unfortunately, they all come crashing down, sometimes by their own fault, others not so much. In this book, I attempted to highlight certain things. We go in depth into both of his trials in 2017 and 2018, respectively. What if I told you that these criminal trials were politically motivated by an overzealous district attorney? Will you also be shocked to learn that attacks on Mr. Cosby did not start in 2014, but also in the 90s, not long after his attempted quest to purchase a major network? From where did all of these allegations of sexual misconduct come from? Were the accusers telling the truth? In the 2 years of research, with some help from others interested in learning the truth and facts about this case, we discussed both the legal reasons why his prosecution and trial were illegal, unwarranted, and also the possible personal motives as to why this may have occurred. Most importantly, we warn about the dangers of prejudice and why a trial by social media, or mainstream media rather, should never be the norm. All this and more in The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., The Destruction of Due Process in America. Available on Amazon this fall in Kindle and paperback format.
And you can pick up The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., The Destruction of Due Process in the United States. It is available now on Amazon Kindle. Ladies and gentlemen, you can actually go right here and click on the Buy Now link that you see right here on your screen on Amazon. Buy now with one click. Book is available. I need all who have it to please write a review on the book. We're trying to push for more sales. This is a great book. This is a must read if you want to learn the truth about what happened to an American icon in Bill Cosby. Whoever you are, wherever you are, I hope you are blessed and doing safe. Tonight it is Random Topic Thursdays, the hottest live stream on YouTube and social media and beyond, ladies and gentlemen. Whoever you are, wherever you are, I hope you are blessed and doing safe. We have the following topics to discuss. Officers involved in the Breonna Taylor shooting charged with civil rights violations. Emmett Till's accuser found. Brittany Griner's sentenced to 9 years in Russian prison. And update, NFL plans to appeal Watson's 6-game suspension, looking to impose stiffer penalties. All this and more tonight on our channel, ladies and gentlemen. We have our special guests that are coming in, but before we do that, of course, we like to pay some bills. We need you to go right now to Nawny'sCreoleBlends.com. Order you some good old-fashioned Creole seasoning. Try it on chicken, meat, or fish. Nawny's goes great with every dish. That's www.Nawny'sCreoleBlends.com. You can see the link right there, Nawny'sCreoleBlends.com. Go and order you some Creole seasoning, family. Also, we talked about the Patreon. You can join our channel. The link is right there. I'm going to be uploading a couple of videos there tonight. You would like to advertise with our channel, you can definitely email us at gavin.rich1@gmail.com. You can also donate to the links at the bottom, which is a great way to support the channel since it is not monetized. And also, we also have our music, such as Video Soul, which is on Spotify and Amazon and Apple, and you can purchase those. But also, we actually to purchase, but also we have our theme song, which we always like to play, Got to Get On Up. So before we get on down, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get on up. Let's song, because you got to feel the groove and get on the floor. Let's get on up.
Girl, come on. Gotta dance to the beat, cause on the dance floor is where we'll meet. Show me what you got. Gotta feel the groove.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the.
Right now the party's wasted. There's nothing much to do. But once the groove gets started, tell me, what do you have to lose? Just look into my eyes, girl, as we glide across the room. And what to my surprise now, the beat takes hold of you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really moving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the.
Tell the DJ play the whispers. Rock steady in the mood. Put on earth, wind, and fire. Tonight we're gonna groove. Show me how you do the four corners. Electric slide or two. Hit the bus stop, I'll do the bunny hop, baby. It's really up to you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really grooving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the.
Now 2020 hasn't been the best year of all times. We've been dealing with death, the pandemic, racism, bad policing, and all the bad rhymes. But like Uncle Snoop once said, if you breathe and you achieve. And so if you're ready, I need you all to get on up. Are you ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Get your butt on the dance floor. 5 and 6 and 7, 8. This jam we appreciate. We're gonna slide and step on the beat.
On the dance floor is where we'll
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up
and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
Yeah, gotta get on up. Come on, baby, gotta get on up. Baby.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
Feel the groove, get on the floor, get on up. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another exciting edition of Random Topic Thursdays here on channel GBoot2786 on Facebook, on Gavin Richard, our other YouTube channel, and on Periscope via Twitter, GavinRich2786, whoever you are, wherever you are. I hope you are blessed and doing safe, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to bring on our guest. I'm actually waiting on a couple of more guests, but of course, everybody, you see the striped shirt on the right of me or to your left. Say hello to my father, Leon Richard, Dr. Richard. Hi, Dad.
Hey, son.
I'm right here. Okay, we're gonna bring in our guest right now. We got on the author of The Man Crisis, and you can go buy his book Stop Sipping in Cyberspace. Of course, he has other books like the John Haynes series, but it's just easy to put this banner up because I'm lazy and I don't want to change it. Please welcome Shawn James. Shawn, good evening.
Good evening, Gavin. How are you?
I'm doing fine, brother. How are you doing? Why don't you do a plug-in right quick?
All right. There are less than 30 hours to go on the Kickstarter for my first full comic book, John Haynes at Death's Door. And we are $35 away from meeting the milestone of $2,000 for getting the project funded. So if you want to get your copy of John Haynes at Death's Door, you can follow the link to the Kickstarter that I'm going to post in the chat.
All right. You all do that. Support our brother. He's doing great things. And I'm going to bring on another guest who is a host of Real Talk with the G-Men. I believe it's on Wednesdays. And I'm going to bring him in right now. You know him very well. He's a friend to this program, a friend of mine. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Bishop Gerald Scott out of Philadelphia. What's going on, Bishop? Bishop, you can't hear me? Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove you, log back in. I'm going to text you. We're going to try and get Bishop back in. So what I'm going to tell Bishop, if you can hear me, and you probably can't, I'm going to text you to log back in. Basically, remove yourself and log back in. Okay, so he heard me because I had another guest who's coming in, and I think he's having an issue logging in right now. I'm waiting for them to start, but we can go ahead and get started. We'll wait for them to come back. Bishop Scott, let's talk about it since I got it up right now. Shawn, I don't know if you saw this earlier, but there has been an arrest. This is breaking news. It happened earlier today. Merrick Garland, the AG of the United States, announced that there will be charges against 4 police officers that were involved in the Breonna Taylor shooting. Most people may know that Breonna Taylor, who was an EMT, was shot dead in her home on March 13, 2020, when officers from the Louisville Metro Police Department stormed into her apartment where she was asleep with her boyfriend, Kenneth Walker. Walker thought the officers were burglars, and he fired his handgun at them, which struck one in the leg. The officers fired 22 shots in the apartment in response, one of which killed Breonna Taylor in the chest, struck her dead in the chest. The LMPD fired Hankinson and James, who were the officers involved in the months after Taylor's death, and the department said Thursday on the police chief had begun termination procedures for Meany and Roulette, who are still on the force. Now, the officers that were charged are Joshua James Cal Meany, Kelly Goodlett, and Brett Hankinson, and they include various civil rights charges, violations, conspiracy, use of force offenses, and obstruction. And of course, Breonna Taylor's death kicked off a night of protests and riots across the country in response to her death. Now, Hankinson was charged by the state. And people need to realize this is a difference between federal charges and state charges. Murder is a state charge, and the feds have no duty, or really, they cannot bring charges for murder against these officers because that is a state charge. And Hankinson was acquitted on state charges of wanton endangerment. However, what I did notice, especially here with these charges, and I want to hear what Shawn thinks, the officer who I think his name is Mattingly, was the one that fired the fatal shot that killed Breonna Taylor. He was not charged with civil rights violations. Now, Miles Cosgrove, Brett Hankinson, and Jonathan Mattingly. Now, they say that the fatal shot came from Miles Cosgrove. So I apologize as I'm looking here, and I know Wikipedia is not the best source, but you all can see there, right where I'm looking at, they have it there on the side. I'm just going off that. Miles Cosgrove is delivered the fatal shot. Now, he was not charged, and neither was Mattingly. And what's important to note is that 2 officers that they found, and I'll play the video, were involved in a cover-up, apparently, with Breonna Taylor's shooting. Prosecutors said in charging documents that Goodlett and James, both detectives, included false and misleading information in an application for the search warrant, specifically that a postal inspector had informed Goodlett that the target of their drug trafficking investigation was receiving packages at Taylor's address. Remember a video I did last year? I talked about this, and there was a judge who issued the warrant, and she even said that if they did lie, she was very irate. She was steaming mad if it were true that these officers had lied on a warrant. And prosecutors alleged that it was false, but Meany, a sergeant, and their supervisor approved the application anyway. They also say that James, Goodlett, and Meany took steps to cover up their unlawful conduct after Ms. Taylor's death and conspired to mislead federal, state, and local authorities who were investigating the incident. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to play the video from CBS, and we're going to put the copyright disclaimer up. And I'm going to have Shawn comment. We hopefully can get Bishop back in. I don't know what happened to him.
I'm here for something worth the wait.
Oh, Lord, I hate these ads. Oh, dear. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen.
Better to match you better. No wonder every 14 minutes someone finds real love on eHarmony. eHarmony, here for real love.
Attorney General Merrick Garland announced federal charges against 4 officers over the 2020 drug raid that led to the death of Breonna Taylor. Here's CBS's Catherine Herridge.
Breonna Taylor should be alive today.
Attorney General Merrick Garland announced the civil rights charges in the botched raid that killed 26-year-old Breonna Taylor. The 4 current and former officers are accused of crimes that include obstruction, falsifying an affidavit to secure a search warrant, and excessive use of force. On March 13, 2020, Louisville police officers raided Taylor's apartment, searching for drugs allegedly stashed by a former boyfriend. Kenneth Walker, who was in the apartment and dating Taylor at the time, fired 1 shot at police. Louisville police officers fired more than 30 shots, many blindly into the apartment. Taylor was struck and killed.
I've waited 874 days for today.
Taylor's mother, Tamika Palmer, spoke to reporters along with family attorney Ben Crump.
This is a day that Black women saw equal justice in the United States of America.
Sergeant Kyle Meany and former Detective Joshua Janes are charged with falsifying an affidavit to obtain the raid search warrant. Former Detective Brett Hankerson is charged with blindly firing into Taylor's apartment. Janes and Detective Kelly Goodlett are accused of covering up their actions.
Those two defendants met in a garage where they agreed to tell investigators a false story.
Breonna Taylor's death during the botched police raid galvanized the social justice movement. Her name is now synonymous with demonstrations over policing and racial injustice.
Breonna Taylor should have awakened in her home as usual on the morning of March 13th, 2020. Tragically, she did not.
The Justice Department is investigating whether Breonna Taylor's death is part of a broader pattern and practice of misconduct within the Louisville Police Department, and the Attorney General would not comment on whether the recent acquittal of one of today's defendants on state charges could impact the federal case. Margaret.
Catherine, thank you.
Okay. So I want to bring our brother Shawn back in. Shawn, what are your thoughts about this? Do you think this is something to be excited about? Do you think that this is a great deal?
Well, I have mixed feelings regarding this indictment of these officers in federal court. Now, while I am happy to see these rogue police officers being charged with federal civil rights charges, I have to question the timing of these charges, because with the Biden administration having an extremely low approval rating and Black people walking away from the Biden administration, I have to question the timing of this indictment, because it looks like to me that the Biden administration might possibly be pandering for Black women's votes by making this indictment. So it's looking to me on the surface that yes, they're looking like they're going out here looking to get justice for Breonna Taylor, but it's looking like to me to be an empty symbolic gesture, because when you take a critical examination of the people who are being charged and the charges that are filed, it's looking like your Biden administration is trying to pander to Black women by trying to make it look like they're going to try to get justice for Breonna Taylor. However, it looks like a whole lot of nothing once you start to really look at who is being charged and what they're being charged for, because the individuals who shot Breonna Taylor aren't being charged with any charges. And it looks like only individuals who made up the warrant and made up the charges are being charged. So it's looking like to me like this is an empty symbolic gesture, making it passively look like they are trying to get justice for Breonna Taylor, but aggressively they're trying to give Black people nothing, hoping to get Black women to go back to the blue plantation and vote blue, because they made it look like they were doing something about Breonna Taylor. But in actuality, you're going to get nothing once the election is over. The trial will turn into an acquittal, or it will turn into a deal where these rogue police officers get no punishment. So I'm looking at the big picture of this, and I'm seeing the chess game that is being played on Black people. And if Black people get in their emotions and get caught up in the symbolic gesture of the charges, they're not going to see the big picture as related to the verdict. But what we're seeing here is that clearly the Biden administration feels the pressure from Black people walking away from the blue plantation, and they're scared. So now, but they're still not scared enough, because they don't want to give Black people the tangible of justice. They want to make it look like they're doing something. But if you really look past what they're putting, the actions they're taking, you clearly see that it's still not enough.
Right, that's Merrick Garland. Everybody knows right there. And you know, that's a very interesting point. And then they brought you saw Ben Crump, who was there, and his remarks about today Black women matter. You know, I thought I looked at my father when I saw that the first time. I was like, they really are. I think they really are pandering with this. Now, I'm not saying that I have mixed feelings about it too. It is, the old saying is some justice is better than no justice. But these officers have not been convicted as of yet, and it depends on whether the prosecutors can prove their case. If they lied, and I believe they lied because the affidavit, clearly they lacked probable cause and they knew that this person was not at the apartment, then certainly that is a punishable offense. But is it murder charges? It's not going to be a life imprisonment thing. Remember when the civil rights workers were killed out in Mississippi, which the movie Burning Mississippi was about, those men were not sentenced to life in prison, although they weren't acquitted. No, it's all right. You can talk. When you have to say, Dad. No, talk about it. Okay. Dad is silent right now. What I was saying was the civil rights workers, Schwimmer, Cheney, and Goodman, who were killed in 1964. They're killers, if you remember the movie, and even in real life, when they had the trial back in 1967, it was United States versus Price. All of these men one I think was acquitted, but some of these men were found guilty, including Cecil Price, Clam Imperial Wizard Samuel Bowers, Alton, Wayne Roberts, Jimmy Snowden, Billy Wayne Posey, Horace Barnett, and Jimmy Allredge. Their sentences range from 3 to 10 years. Now, of course, every case is different. I'm not comparing. There could be, since there are other charges involved, it could be a little more longer. But certainly, I think something could happen. And look at this. In the case of Edgar Ray Callen, who was another defendant, the jury was hung because in the case of Killen, the day deadlocked after one juror stated she could never convict a preacher. Shit. He ain't no preacher if he's not following the word of God. And you participate in the murder. You're a Klansman? And we're going to bring in a preacher. We're going to bring in a bishop right now. Bishop.
Good evening.
Good evening,
Good
Bishop.
evening.
Gavin, and to Mr. Richard, and to Shawn. I'm glad to be with you tonight.
Yeah, Bishop. Yes. Breonna Taylor. We're talking about Breonna Taylor and the civil rights charges.
Yes, well, that's, I'm like Shawn. I look at all of these things as, once again, gestures with no substance. And sometimes it takes our eyes off of the big prize. I mean, we do a little bit of something every now and then. The government does a little something every now and then. A lot of times to placate us. It's almost like you giving Thanksgiving turkeys at Thanksgiving time. A politician gives turkeys at Thanksgiving time. Yeah. And all of that's for to erase everything that they're not doing. Well, my congressman gave us a turkey, or they did something for a particular person in his district. Nothing to correct the district or to change the lives of his constituents. Maybe he does something for one constituent. And because he did something for one constituent, he did something for one person or a handful of folk that's so minuscule it matters little, like a turkey and some cranberry sauce. And we focus on that. Oh, well, he did do this. He did do that for him or her, where the rest of the constituents, numbering sometimes hundreds of thousands of people, their lives changed not one iota. Though that one person's life was impacted in a very small way, the rest of the lives are not impacted at all. So even if this would go through and everything would be okay and justice would be served here, it's one person. And I have no problem allowing one person to be blessed and their family. It was the injustice and all of that. But to say that everything is all right, now we have a friend in the White House, or we have friends in the Congress, is exaggerating the situation.
Right.
It's exaggerating the situation.
Yeah, and I mean, let's not forget also Daniel Cameron, who was the Attorney General. He refused to even indict on state charges. So he was a Republican. He was Daniel Cameron calling him out when this happened. Remember, he voted for the Republican in 2020. You know, he was trying to get them buddies. Now he's running. I'm looking at this. He's running for governor. Oh hell no! Y'all
The
see
thing that the thing this administration has done for everybody else is so significant, and it goes across the board of the entire group. We always get this little bit of gesturing where one person is blessed, one person's found justice, one person has been reprieved of injustice, and all of this type of thing. The rest of the community, the heck with them, it doesn't matter. And nothing will ever change for our community as long as we accept these little tokens of concern, these little gestures of compliance that we so readily want to embrace and point to as being a change of heart. A change of heart is affecting the lives of the community, not 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 10 or 20 or 30 individuals. It does not mean your position about the group has ever changed. It will never change. It's like a person saying, well, my best friend is black. You have Klansmen that have their best friend, quote unquote, as being black. That doesn't mean that his mentality or his lifestyle or what he does and how he feels about the race has changed, though old Jim Boy is my buddy.
Yeah. I hate it, Bishop, when people tell me, some of my best friends.
Bishop, can you turn the volume? I think there's a feedback on your computer.
I'm on my iPad. You want me to? I can go on my computer. I guess I can switch it over. Let me switch over to my computer. But I'm like you, Mr. Rashad. I mean, how many times we've heard that? Well, my best friend is black, and I got friends that are black too. And come on.
Yeah, and I got black friends that come to the house. And,
yeah, exactly.
And, you know, Shawn, I think point. Let's not. This is a election year, and this is a day for us to vote Democratic or blue, regardless of cost. We have to be diligent, observant, and tenacious of the fact that we expect and hold those accountable for not delivering home. We can't put people in office because they're black. Because that doesn't work. We have to be cognizant of the fact that those that are home will betray multitudes of these men that killed this young lady deserve the harshest punishment law can give. And regardless if that means their loss of life, I know it won't. That's what it should. That's what we must ask for. And we must not turn away from the fact that these people, their hearts are cold and stone, and hatred is etched deep under their skin into those hearts. And the only way to change that, you've got to pray and ask God to change it. Man can't change hatred and racism. We can't. We've been trying for 400 years to be assumed equal, or we assume ourselves as equal. Just when we assume that we are equal, we are told and shown that we'll never be equal. And that's the thing that these folks do. They show you that you're not equal. They will put everything in front of you to discourage you, to hurt you, to impede your progress or your journey through life. so that they can maintain their minuscule mind level that only white is better than you. All whites are better than you. And I know damn well I can name a handful just right now off the top of my head of white folks that I wouldn't let sit under my table or give them a drink of water or a cup of spit.
Well, just because you're black doesn't mean, just because you're a black doesn't mean you're good. You know, all skin folk and kinfolk. And I put up Daniel Cameroon, and you know who he reminded me of. If you ever watched the Boondocks, he looks like Tom Dubois. If you think about it, he perfectly is Tom Dubois. He's the inspiration for Tom Dubois.
He did what he did because he wanted to get votes or to hold accountable those people that he gave a helping, we consider a helping hand. That was the white conservative voters, because he's a conservative black man, extremely.
Yeah. Well, and I must say, yes, I'm skeptical about this, but you know, if the people who didn't actually do the killing, like Cosgrove, as I mentioned, they weren't charged either. I wonder why they were left off. You know, that officer was left off, as well as Mattingly was left off. You know, we'll see where it goes.
For everyone who had a finger in causing that lady's death, but causing that child's death, I can speak of it like that because I'm 50 years older than her. They need to be prosecuted. If they falsified information, if they knew about it and didn't report it, and that's the lowest you can be. I know something is going on. I'm not going to report it. I'm going to keep my hands out of it so I won't be incriminated, or I won't be subjected to the punishment that they should receive. If you know there's wrong and you refuse to act, believe me, you've got a greater judge to explain that to than some white man sitting in some political office that couldn't give a damn about you. So that's the judge that you should be worrying about.
Well, my position is clear. The only ones praying for a change is us.
Yeah,
they're not praying for no change.
Right.
Things are going just the way they want them to go. The only ones that keep on playing, that to keep on saying kumbaya, is we who have been the victims all these many years. Yeah. The other folk, for the most part, we know there are some good in every race. We know there are some good people in every situation. But you know, the problem is our prayers are going up for there to be revelation, for there to be a change, for there to be some kind of a sense of equality. And their prayers is, oh no, Lord, please, no. Don't change nothing, Lord. Don't change a thing.
They back it up with guns. Y'all hit that and subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. If you like this broadcast, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Please donate to the Cash App right there. Use Cash App, PayPal, Google Pay, and Zelle and Venmo that you see at the bottom. And we'll next thing. I was waiting on a brother to come in or turn in. I don't know what happened with brother. I was supposed to have Andrew come in because we were going to be talking about this topic. I'm still waiting on him. I'm going to hold it off for now in case he comes. Hold on one second. I'm sorry. So I'll just move on. So this happened today. Brittany Grinner sentenced to 9 years in a Russian prison. Now, Grinner was pled guilty a few months ago, or a month ago, to possession of cannabis oil, and admitted in open court that she had this. She also was talking about how later on during the trial, she had a medical slip. Nevertheless, the Russian judge handed down Russian justice. The prosecutors were asking for 9.5 months. The judge said, well, we'll just take the 5 months off and give you 9. Because she's obviously been in holding since, I believe, March of this year. For several
February when she was arrested.
Yes, and she actually spoke today at her sentencing before the court, and it was they went live with it. earlier today. I don't know if you guys actually saw it, but different people have spoken out against it. Of course, Biden spoke out on it and said it was unacceptable what happened to her. However, I don't know if Biden did anything to try and bring her home. And to be honest, do you all think that, and I've asked people this before, if you think that she's worth trading because they're talking about a Russian spy, I had talked about this before, who had killed or was plotting to kill some United States consulates and people. Shawn, we talked about it last week. And this is a scene we're going to play right here with the verdict. Now, I don't really want to put it on ESPN and show what happened, but what will usually takes place, as all you know, they'll come with some BS copyright strike. So I'm not going to do that. What I will do is play a clip here from CBS News. And
Lawyers for WNBA star Brittany Grinner say they will appeal a Russian court after they sentenced her to 9 years in prison on drug charges. CBS 2's Natalie Brand has more on the verdicts and reaction.
WNBA star Brittany Grinner told reporters she loves her family as she was led away in shackles after receiving a 9-year prison sentence on charges of cannabis possession. Her month-long Russian trial came to an end Thursday morning, shortly after the two-time Olympic champion delivered an apology.
I never meant to hurt anybody. I never meant to put in jeopardy the Russian population. I never meant to break any laws.
Griner's lawyers argued the Phoenix Mercury Center brought vape cartridges with cannabis oil by mistake when she flew to Moscow in February to play basketball in Russia during the off-season. They presented written testimony from a doctor who prescribed her with cannabis for pain treatment.
Griner's legal fight has played out amid increased tensions between the U.S. and Russia. The Biden administration says the basketball star was wrongfully detained and has urged Moscow to negotiate a prisoner swap.
I pressed the Kremlin to accept the substantial proposal that we put forth on the release of Paul Whelan and Brittany Griner.
People familiar with the proposal say the U.S. wants to trade Griner and U.S. citizen Paul Whelan, who also remains imprisoned in Russia, for a notorious arms trader, Victor Boot, serving a sentence in the U.S. The Biden administration says it will pursue every possible avenue to bring Griner and Whelan home safely as soon as possible. Natalie Rand, CBS News, Washington.
The commissioners of the WNBA and the NBA released a joint statement today calling the verdict, quote, unjustified and unfortunate, but not unexpected. They say their leagues are also committed to her safe return to the U.S.
So you want to trade an arms dealer for Brittany Griner and Paul Whelan, who have contributed what to the country? Now, I'm not in any way, shape, or form. Honestly, if it were up to me, I would think that in America, she might have gotten a lighter sentence than that, especially if she's a first offense. But you're not in the United States. You're in Russia. When you're in someone else's backyard, you follow their rules. Just like if you were living in someone else's home. If they ask you to take your shoes off when you come in, and they don't want to track dirt on their floor, you take them off. Now, I saw somebody, Vulcan said, Brittany is basically being used as a political pawn. Wow. Do y'all think that? I put in on the YouTube page, if you think we should trade for Brittany to come home, give me a yes or no. 25% say yes, 75% say no. So you trade her just like they would in the WNBA. Would y'all trade her for? Would y'all trade her and rush for Mr. Boot? What do y'all think of this? Let's start with Bishop.
Well, first of all, she, just like you said, Gavin, she went into another country who have their own set of rules, their own set of laws. Their laws do not always coincide with our laws. First of all, secondly, cannabis. And secondly, she has been to Russia before. It's not like her first visit. Right. She's played there for many years, off and on during the off season of the WNBA. So she knows pretty much, at least she should know the rules in terms of drugs, drug usage, and all of that. She bought it over there, with full knowledge of what Russian policy is. And so we can't say this girl may be her first offense, but this is not her first time understanding the Russian laws concerning this.
Yeah,
I don't believe that.
It was second home, so.
Yeah, I mean, so in fact, you may argue she may look at it her first home. Remember, she denounced the United States. She called the United States everything but a haven of Satan. I mean, she may have looked at Russia as her home. Who's to say what her mentality was until all this happened, of course, and now America the Beautiful. But nevertheless, I mean, ignorance can be bliss, but in this case, it was knowledge. She knew the law, and she decided to try to go around the law and do her own thing, and it caught up with her this time. That's what happens. I mean, how many times we've done things that are wrong, we got away with them, but maybe the third or fourth time, we're caught red-handed. Do we say because I didn't get caught the last time, I shouldn't get caught this time, or this time I got caught, and now it's unfair?
Well, my main thing and my problem is they're playing this out like she's a civil rights icon. If you saw on the cover of Time magazine, Time had this cover up here, the story behind Brittany Griner's time, and she says Brittany Griner and the fight for freedom. Do y'all see that right here? Look at this. Like she's Dr. King.
Right.
She broke a law. Dr. King was fighting for something. She wasn't fighting for nothing but getting high. That's what she wanted. That Dr. King fought to sit in the front and fought for our rights. She fought to get high.
Well, it's the same with George Floyd. I mean, with George Floyd, I mean, he's always become a martyr. I mean, how they do, it's really weird how they do us, how they think about us. They know how frivolous we are. Really, I'm going to be honest with you. They know as a people how frivolous we are, how we accept anything that looks like injustice towards us, no matter who the victim is. I mean, they always got to put this civil rights, racist kind of thing involved in it. And I think it's unfair.
Her biggest mistake is going over there. Number one, she's black, and number two, she's part of that community.
Yeah, right.
They do not like that over there. They do not like that over there in Russia. And notice that community has been silent. They have not said very little about bringing their girl home.
Nope.
She identifies as being lesbian, LGBT. She's married to a woman.
Like I say, she not only identified, she married a woman. So.
Married a woman, yeah.
I mean,
they push that. The WNBA is known for pushing that agenda. ESPN wants to push it, and nobody watches it.
Yeah.
You're watching the Who wants to watch a layup marathon?
Well, it's not a popular venue. They don't get the same kind of numbers as the NBA. Not even near the same numbers.
They put it on ESPN too, and it still couldn't draw a million people.
That's sad. That's why they got to go to these foreign countries. They can't get the revenue. They can't get the money over here for that thing because nobody's buying it.
Right. But you think, Shawn, what do you think? Do you think she's being used as a political pawn? Because Vulcan said that. And I don't know you could say she's being used, but what do you think?
I definitely believe that she's being used as a political pawn to try to pander to get the black female vote. Because if this wasn't an election season, I doubt the Biden administration would care anything about Brittany Griner. The only reason why they're going ham on Brittany Griner is because they know that they're losing support from black voters, and they want to go out here and pander to the black female voter by saying that we care about you, by going after trying to make this trade for Brittany Griner. But this again is another empty symbolic gesture by the left to try to pander to black women, because we all know that your Brittany Griner basically violated the laws of this country. She knew, if she had been traveling to Russia before, she knows that your Russia is an extremely strict place. and they already don't have a lot of love for black people, especially alphabet black people, and they also don't have they're not as lenient with these drug laws. It's very strict over there. So she already knew that she wasn't going to be able to play the games she played here in America, but she tried to play them anyway, and she wound up with a losing hand. So she went in there hoping, oh, I'll just go in here, try to play this game with the Russian legal system, but the Russian legal system isn't gynocentric. The Russian legal system doesn't give favor to black women like it does here in America. And the Russian legal system is very harsh on people. And what your Brittany Griner wants to do is try to get the same pass she would in America, but she's not going to get that pass from their legal system. And the Russians don't really have a reason to negotiate a deal that benefits the U.S. to free her because they have all the leverage in this situation. So your Joker Joe can go out here and try to lobby arms dealers to them, but the Russians don't really need that guy anyway. So they're like, look, we can get a better deal because this doesn't benefit us in any way, shape, or form. They know that Joker Joe's approval rating is low. They know that the blue politicians are in jeopardy of losing the House and the Senate, and they know they have all the bargaining to leverage in this situation. But your Brittany Griner, basically, she wouldn't be anybody that mattered if this wasn't an election year. And the only reason why everybody's going so crazy is because she was an WNBA celebrity. But I don't think anybody would care about her if she was an average, ordinary, everyday black woman, because I've heard stories about ordinary, everyday black women who went and got their passports and went to other countries, and nobody's talking about them.
Saturday, Sunday, we have a dance recital.
Oh, so car shopping on never.
Oh, never works.
How about car shopping right here, right now? Yeah, right.
Seriously.
With Car Gurus, you can do more from home.
Pre-qualify for financing, value your trade-in.
Even shop great deals from cars that can be delivered right to your family room. Or maybe to your driveway.
We have one.
CBS
would be better.
Makes sense.
Makes sense.
We're gonna get out of your hair.
Yeah, that's not the way it came in.
Not trying to buy a car. Sorry about that. Yeah, so I agree with you. I think that, and you know something I noticed too, I think everybody wants to be a victim these days. And I'm not saying that it doesn't exist, but everybody wants to be a victim. Everybody wants this person to be a martyr. You know, I want this, I want that. That's Brittany Griner and her wife.
But Gavin, can I just interject one thought? I have to say this. It really surprises me that a country that is levied all kinds of stipulations against Russia, all these sanctions against Russia, starving their people. See, it's not the elite that's suffering when you have sanctions. Let's be clear about that. They talk that stuff. You think that Putin is hungry, going hungry? You think that the Kremlin is going hungry? That they really suffer when sanctions are being made against a country? It's the people that are suffering. And so you think that America, United States, who is back in the Ukraine for their own little personal another one of these personal reasons, are causing this suffering on Russia. Why would the girl even want to go at this time? To be honest with you, why would any American want to go at this time into a country we really are virtually declaring war on indirectly?
Because she makes more money over there than she does here. Because it doesn't.
Well, she messed up. She messed up because to think that
they make more money over there, though, Bishop.
But I'm saying, this country that you're putting all this pressure on, that you're starving its people, and then you ask them to, well, why are you being so hard on her? I mean, here's one American versus hundreds of millions of Russians that are suffering because of these sanctions. I think it's presumptuous to think that they should be magnanimous and show some kind of charity and understanding about this one girl who actually did commit a crime, versus the sanctionings that are killing and actually limiting the lives of and restricting the lives of and impacting the lives of millions of Russians. I think it's really presumptive to think that this country should have such a great heart toward this one girl in Wayland, that former Marine, versus their millions of people that are suffering every day. I
What do
think
you-
it's so presumptuous.
What do you
That's
think-
America.
What do
That's
you think?
America.
But what do you think of them talking about trading her for this Anton Bot guy, who's the arms dealer?
I think the guy is even a worse criminal. I mean, he's involved with espionage. He's involved with trying to kill
Right.
folk. I mean, and you're going to trade him for a basketball player? I'm going to tell you the truth. If they do this, they're going to benefit from it because whatever he does know, he can now share with the Kremlin.
Yeah.
What are we benefiting
Well,
from?
it's going to hurt
by
us
bringing
more
this girl
because
back home.
it hurts us more, the United States more, because it's going to make them look weak.
And then what happens when she comes home? What will she contribute to America? When he goes back to Russia, he may have a little tidbit of information that can help them. What is her coming back home going to do to help us?
Russian rats.
It's crazy.
Just say no.
It's crazy.
I mean, if it were up to me, I mean, it's not up to me, but, like I said, yeah, is it strict? Yes. Do I like the laws there? I mean, it's not my country. No. But like I said, in the United States, it'd be different, but you're not in the United States, unfortunately for her. So it is what it is, but they're saying they're going to appeal it. And she says, Griner, who has played in Russia for the past 7 seasons. So she's familiar with this.
Seven seasons, that's 7 years.
She earns over $1 million per season while playing for UMKC Ekaterinburg. And when she's with the WNBA with Phoenix, she signed a 3-year, $664,544 contract extension. So she makes more money going overseas. But if you go overseas, be familiar with the laws. That's what I say. At least, please hit that like.
They can't hate black people that much because they're paying you $1 million where good old USA are paying you $300,000. So there you have it.
We're going to move on, guys, to our next topic. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Let's talk about this. I talked about this on Tuesday with Judge Joe Brown and Dad and Bernard Weep that they had found Emmett Till's accuser, Carolyn Bryant Dunham. And this is here. I shared this last time, and I wanted to talk so I could get Shawn and Bishop's take on it. Bryant, who is now 88, has managed to go unseen since 2004 and has been living in her final days in apparent tranquility, despite her role in the death of the 14-year-old Emmett Till in 1955. Today, she's living in a small apartment community in Kentucky. Of course, as most people already know, as I've talked about on this channel a couple of weeks ago, some researchers went into the courthouse out in Mississippi where Carolyn Bryant's husband and her brother-in-law, J.W. Millam, and Roy Bryant were charged and acquitted, although they admitted later on in an interview with Look magazine to murdering Emmett Till. They found a warrant for her arrest for Emmett's kidnapping. However, the Attorney General, Ms. Fitch, as well as the district attorney out in that county, has refused to bring charges forward in this killing. Now, this is the old bag here. Walking her dog. She's living her life. She's got to live her life for over 70 years. Almost 70 years since this killing. You can see she's on an oxygen tank. But that's her there.
Still smiling.
Still smiling?
She's smiling. Look at her.
Yeah.
Just happy as a lark with her little doggy.
And she got to live her life. And sadly, Emmett didn't get to live his. And yet,
what bothers me about that, Gavin, is that people are saying, well, she's 88 years old. Should we do anything about this now? Well, let me tell you something. There still are convicting and hunting down Nazis.
Yep.
And they're 100 years old. They're old enough to be her daddy.
Oh, yeah.
These guys. And they're still hunting them down even today. They're still hunting surviving Nazis even today. So she ain't that old.
No, she's not that old. And you
They let
also
those be prosecuted.
had Bill Cosby locked up, 80 years old, on hearsay.
Yeah, see? So don't
So-
be she's too old.
I want to share this with you all. She needs to live her last days in prison.
Yeah.
And we need to put pressure on this AG out in Mississippi and this district attorney out in Mississippi, in that area. His name, what's the name of the attorney? I should know this. I'm sorry. Everybody know?
Not offhand. I'm trying to look it up now.
Dwayne Richardson. That's him. 4th District. We need to put pressure on both these individuals and make sure that they bring justice for Emmett. It is not too late. It is not too old. She can live her last damn days in prison. Exactly, Vulcan. But I want to share with you. So this is his website, and I'm going to put Ditch's website as well, because she's the one that said there'll be no charges. But we're going to call, we're going to write, we're going to make sure that they bring charges against this old hag.
Good.
She does not deserve to live her last days in peace. I hope every night she doesn't get an ounce of sleep because she sees Emmett's battered face. Because she caused that. And let's not forget, at the trial, and even beyond, Mose Wright has stated that he heard a voice identify Emmett in the middle of the night. They asked if that's the boy. And he heard a voice light as a feather say yes. So who else was there that could have identified him? He said the voice was like a woman. That's Dwayne Richardson. Now, this is the Attorney General of Mississippi. Her name is Lynn Fitch. We're going to go to this website. Y'all going to send letters. We're going to write. We're going to call. We're going to make sure we are not going to let this get swept under the rug. And I have written a letter. I want to share it with y'all before you all comment. And I'm going to read it to everybody here that I plan to send to Miss Fitch here on tomorrow. I want y'all to tell me what you think, but I'm going to share it with you. It says, Dear A.G. Fitch, I hope that this letter finds you in good spirits and in good health. I'm an attorney in the neighboring state of Louisiana. As a fellow member of the bar and criminal defense lawyer, I must stress to you my concern over the handling of a particular case. The lynching of Emmett Till is one of the darkest moments in American history. At the age of 14 years old, I'm sorry, I got a typo there. I'm not going to send it. I got to change it. At the age of 14 years old, this child's life was snuffed by 2 evil white supremacists and apparent assistance from others. Roy Bryant and J.W. Millam got away with murder and even bragged about what they did after their acquittal. Justice still can be done in this case. It is clear from newly discovered information and evidence that was disclosed in their trial that Roy Bryant's wife, Carolyn Bryant Dunham, was involved in some way with his abduction. Mose Wright, Emmett's uncle, had testified and stated that he had heard a voice light as a feather identify Emmett Till in the middle of the night. He described the voice as sounding like that of a woman. No one else could have identified Emmett Till but the very woman he had the interaction with, Carolyn Bryant Dunham. There is no way, in any way, shape, or form, Emmett Till could have identified himself either at 2 o'clock at 2 o'clock in the morning. I know this is a draft. I haven't officially sent it. She should be charged as an accessory before the fact to kidnapping and murder of this child based upon this information. Her own statements in her memoir contradict the actual known evidence as to what had happened. Mrs. Dunham is saying Emmett made crass remarks and tried to assault her and that she screamed. No witnesses have ever come forward stating they heard any screams. We do know that Emmett, even in the face of death, refused to back down from his murderers as he was tortured in that woodshed. In closing, as an officer of the court and the chief prosecutor of the state of Mississippi, I ask that you give the Till family, some closure. Miss Dunham deserves to have her day in court based off this evidence. That is the true definition of justice. The ghosts of Mississippi can be put to rest if you proceed to do what is right. Thank you. Yours truly, Gavin M. Richard, Esquire. Y'all couldn't even see it with us in the way, but that's what I read. And I'm going to change that to make some changes as a draft. But she's been able to live her life, but I plan on sending this letter off tomorrow. I want to hear what Shawn has to say about it, since you've seen new footage of Carolyn Bryant Dunham. Shawn, you go ahead and start us off.
Well, this old bag is still alive, and sadly, she's still not been brought to justice. And what's disturbing here is that there's a warrant for this Carolyn Dunham's arrest, and back during the days of Jim Crow, nobody wanted to go out here and enforce that warrant due to our gynocentric and white supremacist criminal justice system, which gives white women a pass for their criminal behavior. And it is extremely egregious that this white woman was given a pass for almost 70 years, since she was the one who instigated the murder of Emmett Till. And according to some reports, she practically was the one who told the other people, her husband and her brother-in-law, to go out here and murder Emmett Till. Now, this old bag has been sitting around for over 70 years, and she has never been brought to justice because our white supremacist criminal justice system seems to like giving passes to white women. But I'm glad to see that Black people are keeping up the pressure on this busted old bag and letting her know that she is going to be held accountable, whether here by Black people or by the Most High living God, when she finally gets her last breath and opens her eyes in hell for the evil that she's done. Your Carolyn Dunham basically has been given, a pass by our criminal justice system. And it's just egregious that this is allowed to go on, because we oftentimes have these beta males trying to say, well, we can't go out here and prosecute this woman or now this old woman. And that just shows us how racist and white supremacist and gynocentric it is, how they go out of their way to protect the white woman. And they'll do this while saying, oh, we need to put an 80-year-old man like Bill Cosby in prison. Well, I say it's time to put this old hag in prison for the crime that I believe that she did commit, which was, again, orchestrating the murder of Emmett Till. Because if we can put Bill Cosby in prison for a crime he did not commit, and we can put Nazis in crimes at over 100 years old, then we can go out here and take this white supremacist and put her in prison and let her suffer in her last days, knowing that she was brought to justice and that she couldn't get away with this crime she did almost 50 years ago.
Yeah, most definitely. Shawn, Bishop?
I want to just concur with what Shawn said, that, it's time. It's past time. It's overtime.
It's overtime.
It's almost too late time. That's how long this has been. Almost too late time for this grinning woman, because that's what the picture shows. She's still smiling with a little dog, can barely breathe. She raised 2 children who are now grown men themselves and have children of their own. I mean, she's a grandmama, most likely. She lived a full life. She ended the life of a 14-year-old on a lie. She ended her life of 14. He never got a chance to finish high school, never got a chance to marry, never got a chance to live any kind of life at all. He was a boy. 14 is barely a teenager. You're not even a teenager until you're 13. So he was only a teenager for a year before his life was snuffed out needlessly and recklessly. And like I said before, and as Shawn has recapitulated here, if you can send, and this country has done it, they sent Nazis back to Israel to be prosecuted and murdered, or executed actually, after some of them are 99, 100 years old enough to be her daddy. You're 100 years old, you're 88, you're really technically old enough to be her daddy. If you're over 100 years old, they're still sending these men. Some of them can't even walk anymore. They've been carried into the courthouse on stretchers.
They're coming to the courthouse on stretchers.
I mean, come on now,
tanks, yeah. Yeah, they
and there's no
Jews don't care. The Jewish community, they want, if you did something to them, they're gonna make sure you pay for it now. For it now. You're not gonna wait until you see God. No, we're gonna send you to God. That's how it is. We are to, we should be putting pressure on this AG, on this district attorney, a black man at that, who won't bring the case forward. And if y'all know anything, they have this movie coming out. Thank you, Cheryl, on Emmett Till that's supposed to be coming out this year that Whoopi Goldberg is producing. And I know they've already had a lot of stuff on Emmett already. They had something on ABC about.
All right, I'll be right back.
All right, no problem. I'll take your time. And Emmett would have been 81 last month. Yes, his birthday was July 25th. But does anybody know whatever happened to Emmett Till's father, Lewis?
No, I mean, what I understand is
I
think because of the situation. See, sometimes tragedy, instead of bringing people together, it separates them, because eventually he left her. Now, I don't know whether it was because of this situation or whatever.
Well, he was dead. Actually, this was before. Lewis Till served in World War II, Bishop.
Okay.
And I knew what happened with Emmett Till's father, but most people don't know Emmett Till's father was court-martialed in the United States Army for raping and murdering a white Italian woman, a white woman, and he was lynched. He was hung. Court-martialed.
I didn't know that.
Right. He was accused of rape, and he was hung in the military. And in fact, there is a book that is out that was written on Lewis Till about his death, and it's very clear that he did not get a fair trial. So tragically, just like his son, he was lynched as well by the United States government, no less, according to what this is saying. And if you read here, this is on Wikipedia, of course, but you can see this is Emmett's father. And Emmett's father shares my birthday, February 7th.
Oh, wow.
That's Emmett Till's dad. Yeah.
Oh, I'm looking at it now, too. Yeah. Okay.
And he was 23 years old when he died in Pisa, Tuscanaya.
Italy,
Italy. Tuscanaya. Italy. Italy, yeah. And challenge an essayist by the name of John Edgar Wiederman. He wrote a book called Writing to Save a Life, The Lewis Till File. And Wiederman examined the trial record and compared it to the trial of Emmett's killers, calling both of them a farce, and believes that Mr. Till's military records being leaked during 1955 was an intentional effort to demonize Emmett Till further and retroactively justify the controversial acquittal of his murderers. Wiederman expressed the viewpoint that Lewis Till may have been punished for the crime of being black rather than for committing any real crimes, citing the disproportionate punishment of African-American soldiers for rape, as well as laws in the United States that define all sexual encounters between African-American men and white women as rape. And this is the magazine, Confidential, and you see right there why the Army hanged Emmett Till's dad. Now, military records should not be even disclosed to the public. But the man that leaked them were these two men, James Eastland and John Stennis.
We know those names, don't we? We know those names, don't we, in politics? We know those names in politics. Two of the political giants. And let me say, mentors of Joe Biden.
Yes, that's what I was.
Mentors of Joe Biden. You see how the connection all comes up? Mentors of Joe Biden. Your present president.
Yeah. James Eastland and John C. Stennis were known racists.
Oh yeah, Ku Klux Klan carrying members.
Right. In fact, LBJ was quoted as saying, "If there was ever a flood in Mississippi, and James Eastland had his way, he would say that the niggers caused the flood." But he was very powerful.
He's right though. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
these are the men that Joe Biden called friends.
Yeah.
He called them his friends and his mentor.
Yeah, Johnson said
both of those men.
Yeah, the actual quote is Johnson once said, "Jim Eastland could be standing right in the middle of the worst Mississippi flood ever known, and he'd say the niggers caused it, helped out by the communists." When the three civil rights workers were missing, Eastland tried to convince Johnson that the incident was a hoax. And he said there was no Ku Klux Klan in the state. He said Jesse and the three had gone to Chicago.
They said, you're right. The family didn't even know. The family didn't even know how he died until 10 years later. The same year, that's like you said, Gavin, that actually Emmett was killed. 10 years later, from 1945 to 1955. 10 years later,
Emmett never really knew his father.
No, he wouldn't.
Emmett was a baby.
4 years old.
Yeah.
4 years old.
He was buried in Naples Allied Cemetery. His remains were moved to the O.C. Astley American Cemetery out in northern France.
Never came home.
Yes. By the way, the Bryant grocery store, someone bought it, and it's still there to this day. Yeah. Except it's crumbling. It's not. No one ever fixed it up since the incident. They just bought it. And you can see there's a marker here in this photograph that commemorates it. I shouldn't say commemorate like it's a good thing, but this is the gas pump. Like, that's what it looks like inside. And that's the building right there.
There were some people who wanted to make it a museum to Emmett Till, try to save it, but that didn't materialize because they couldn't get the funds together. I wouldn't give them a plug nickel for anything like that.
To make it a museum?
Yeah, you don't need that.
No, I mean, I don't think it should be a museum. I think they should leave it where it is. It's a historical, sadly, for the wrong reasons, a historical marker, which is why they put it there, because this tragedy is what sparked the civil rights movement.
Yeah.
Well, we really needed the hands move. We should have put on these Klansmen. Like the Deacons for Defense did. When the Klansmen were coming in their neighborhoods, I was reading, these were former military men. They would stand on their roofs and out of their windows with AR-15s and M16 weapons, M1 carbines, shooting at the Klansmen. Told them, turn your ass around. That's how you got to be with these people. It's like what Sean Connery told Calvin Costner in The Untouchables. You want to get Capone? Here's how you get him. He pulls a knife, you pull a gun. You send one of his to the hospital. He sends one of yours to the hospital. You send one of his to the morgue. That's the Chicago way. That's how you get Capone. You remember the movie?
I remember it.
Yeah,
I remember it.
I don't think that you have men in numbers who would take that stand. We're far few in between.
I'm talking about the Klan.
I am.
That's
talking
how
about
they.
the Klan. This is what I'm referencing.
No.
I don't think you have men who would stand up, not in large numbers, to be defiant, to carry guns. You don't have men like you have like you had in the 60s with the Panthers, who are not afraid to exercise their constitutional rights to carry guns and go walk up to the State House of Representatives.
They did that even before that, even in 1921,
and
what happened in Tulsa to protect the black man that was in.
But I'm saying now you don't have men like that, of that caliber. Maybe I'm not explaining it carefully.
I understand, since you just said that last sentence, what you meant. But
yeah, you don't have that. As far as I'm concerned, take all these Klansmen who wear white sheets or don't wear white sheets and hang them up by their toes or whatever that's available. I don't tolerate it.
Yeah. Rest in peace, brother Emmett. Are y'all even interested in seeing that movie?
Not if Whoopi had something to do with it. No.
Yeah, I wonder why.
No, I don't. I'm not gonna. No, because no.
You're talking about.
I'm sorry, I can't.
But in 1944, George Steiny Jr. was executed for murder, a 14-year-old black boy, for the murder of 2 white girls. So, this child didn't even get to see his parents. He spent over 90 days in jail, in solitary. 14 years old. We have been through some atrocious, hellish behavior. Yeah. I know I'm singing to the choir, but unless people stand up and eradicate racism, fight it at every corner of this country or your city, unless you are willing to take a knot to the head and give a couple of knots. I don't believe in nonviolence at that point when somebody strikes you. I don't believe in it. And that's just the way I'm made.
Well, let's hit the like, share, and subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. This is how we're made. We are live on YouTube. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. Please donate to the Cash App, PayPal, Google Pay that you see at the bottom. Our channel is not monetized, but anything you can contribute to our channel, our live stream, is greatly appreciated. We have one last topic, and yes, I will take a couple of calls after we finish this topic. Call-in number is 504-656-6760. We're going to open the phone lines a little bit, but I wanted to talk about this because I saw Shawn's video, and I wanted him to speak on it again because I talked about it on Tuesday. I was planning to have our friend Andrew Jones, who is a civil attorney, come on and explain what happened with Deshaun Watson. But the update is that the NFL plans to appeal Watson's 6-game suspension, looking to impose stiffer penalties. So it's been reported now, and this is coming from the NFL's own website, that the NFL, Roger Goodell, has hired an attorney by the name of Peter C. Harvey, who's the former AG out of New Jersey, to hear the league's appeal of the Cleveland Browns quarterback 6-game suspension for violating the league's personal conduct policy. Mr. Harvey served as the AG of New Jersey, is now a partner at the Patterson Belknap firm in New York. He has also served as a federal prosecutor. He has deep expertise in criminal law, including domestic violence and sexual assault, and has advised the NFL and other professional leagues on the development and implementation of workplace policies, including the NFL's personal conduct policy. Mr. Harvey has also served as the commissioner's designee in other arbitrations. So, he's a good old boy. He knows Goodell. Now, Judge Sue Robinson imposed a 6-game suspension, recommended that Watson serve 6 games on Monday, writing a 16-page report that the NFL successfully carried its burden to prove by a preponderance of the evidence that Mr. Watson violated the personal conduct policy and claimed he engaged in sexual assault conduct that poses as a genuine danger to the safety and well-being of another person and conduct that undermines or puts at risk the integrity of the NFL. However, she also stated in it, interesting, that she didn't find that he engaged in violence. And yet, I'm going to point out to you that they have been trying to very hard defame this brother, Deshaun Watson. Everything you have looked at in the media, and it's mostly written by women that I've seen, has been judge, jury, conviction, judge, jury, and executioner. They played execution of Deshaun Watson. He was charged on Wednesday, brought in on Thursday in court, convicted on Friday, and on Saturday he's been sentenced to death. When I shared this before, when they said this woman who wrote this by Sue Robinson's own findings, she said that Deshaun Watson, it's hard to believe he didn't act violent. And if you listen carefully and read the reports like I have and even considered anything, you would know, number one, Deshaun Watson has never been convicted of any crime. It's important to note that. It's important to note that a grand jury refused to indict him twice. It's important to note that he has not been, other than that, he has not been brought before a judge or tribunal. There is a civil case, and yes, he did settle. And it's important to note that even with settling a case, since we're talking about black boys and so forth, what black men went through, with messing with white women, just messing with women in general, men especially, and my thing with Deshaun, it seems like he was not smart. But what he did by getting and it even mentioned in the report, from now on, he should not have a private masseuse. He needs to have one sanctioned by the team. But here's the thing. In America, you can have how many masseuse therapists you want if you can afford that. You can have as many girlfriends even as you want. You can start as many relationships as you want. That is not considered illegal. What would be illegal? Yes, actually raping someone, battery, touching someone inappropriately. And I listened to it, and yes, they allege that, but I have not seen any evidence to that. But you see articles like this. Then there was another article where they wrote this: Deshaun Watson's suspension was a joke. I actually saw this here. They must have changed it. He gets laughable suspension as NFL fumbles its own case. Nancy Armorer wrote this. Now, does this seem like honest reporting, fair and balanced? See, I'm about fair and impartiality with media. Let's hear what the facts are. We've heard one side. We've had one person in court. They all went to court. And yes, he settled it. But a settlement, as I stated before, is not an admission of guilt. Tony Busby was the lawyer of most of these women, and he criticized Adam Scheffner earlier today. He said, Adam Scheffner's tweet, this is why Deshaun Watson from the beginning welcomed the police investigation. He felt he knew the truth would come out, and today a grand jury chose not to charge him on any of the criminal complaints. And Busby says these women were failed by the DA. But here's the thing, that's the way America works. You're presumed innocent until proven guilty. Not if you're black. You are entitled to due process. It doesn't matter how many women, it doesn't matter how many kids, it doesn't matter what charge it is. You could be accused of blowing up a building with 10,000 puppies. It doesn't matter. Whether it's petty theft, whether it's terrorism, you're innocent until proven guilty. That's how it's been for the last 200 years.
Supposedly.
And they want to suspend this man even further. Ben Roethlisberger was accused of rape. And I've noticed they've tried to compare it now. I thought something was funny. I initially thought I saw, and it wasn't, it looks like it wasn't true. But they said Ben Roethlisberger supposedly said something, but I found out he didn't actually say that. And Roethlisberger got suspended 6 games by the NFL. It was commuted to 4 games. Now, what this is and what's going on, here's another point. The NFL season just started. Tonight is the preseason game. The biggest consumers of NFL gear are females. Women are the biggest consumers of everything. But women now are now make up at least nearly, and it was in 2013, 45% of NFL fans. It's gone up by that number. I'm reading here, according to Statista.com, NFL interest in the United States 2022 by gender, they say 46% of all male respondents were avid fans of the NFL as of May of 2022. So what that tells you is that the base of the NFL is not men anymore, it's women. They're the ones buying all the products. So it's natural now, especially that they want to appeal. And I think that's what Roger Goodell is doing. He doesn't want to hurt his base. Because remember, the NFL has suffered in recent years in ratings. But I am disgusted by what I have seen in this media with regards to this. I don't know Deshaun Watson, and I don't know what he has done or is accused, other than what I've read and he's accused of. But what I do know and I don't like is the fact that you can be punished severely. This man, remember, this man didn't play last year either. He was put on the bench by his team. And we're talking about suspending him for another year. No charges are against him. But I know in the NFL, when you sign that agreement and the NFLPA, you guys, excuse my language, Bishop and Dad, but you all fucked up. You fucked up when you gave Roger Goodell all of this power to do whatever he wanted to do. Because he's hiring somebody basically to say to the commissioner, hey, I can do this. I want to punish him even further. If I appeal it as a player, the commissioner has to hear the appeal. What sense does that make? If you're in court and a trial judge sentences you and tries you and you think you didn't get a fair shot, we don't go and appeal to the trial court again. We appeal to the circuit court, the Court of Appeals. That's what it's called. And if it's not the Court of Appeals, it's the Supreme Court, the court over all the courts.
Right.
Why would y'all agree to something like this? I think the Steelers were the only team that didn't agree to this. One team didn't want to give Goodell this. Look what he did with the Saints with Bountygate. He screwed that up. Jonathan Vilma and had to sue. And they brought Paul Tagliabue, the former commissioner, in and found out they were wrong. And this is a young black man. But I want my brothers, especially my young brothers who are athletes, because I got nephews. And my nephew is playing football now. He's 10. Now, he's not at that age yet where girls are going to look at him, but they will. Because if he goes in a passion of sports, like he does, like he has, and kids, of course, go through phases, but let's say he wants to be a football player and he becomes that star player in middle school, then in high school, he becomes All-American. Then he gets picked to college. And he's off to college and on a full scholarship ride. Let's say he lives in Ohio. Let's say he gets picked up by, my nephew gets picked up by the Ohio Buckeyes. Well-known team, college football team, right? You're a star athlete. Guess what? Guess what's going to come? You're going to go to the parties. There's going to be drinking. There's going to be liquor. There's going to be all kinds of stuff going on. And the girls are going to be right there trying to get next to you. Let's go in the room. Let's do this. I'm going to tell my nephews, like a man, when they get older, they're not at the age yet, but I'm going to tell them, do not go off in any room with a girl at a party. Don't do it. Dad is looking at me. Like, really? Yes, really. You better have a camera with you. You better record. You better in your house, especially when you become an NFL star and you get that money, set up cameras in your house, record, have bodies around you, have some bodyguards around. Because any accusation, anybody can say it. They don't even have to. This is not a court of law. NFL, they can suspend and do whatever they want. You agree to it. But they can do whatever the hell they want. But you see the effect of that, even if you're not convicted in court, which is the law of the land. It says due process. You don't get this at work, so you're going to lose money. And on top of that, your reputation takes a hit. Because I wasn't surprised when I saw punk-ass Skip Bayless say he lost respect for Deshaun Watson as a man. Really? The same Skip Bayless that called out, that made a racist remark about Clay and Steph Curry, about them being light-skinned. I don't know if Shannon called him out for that. He should have. But they probably didn't because they work together and they got to be careful. You know, there's probably some policy where the personalities at Fox can't talk about each other publicly like they do at ESPN. Although the white girl who did it to Stephen A. Smith, she got away with it. Any one of y'all can go.
Well, when it comes down to this whole Deshaun Watson thing, this is basically the NFL on a witch hunt, hoping to destroy Deshaun Watson. It's clear to me that your NFL has a vendetta against Deshaun Watson, and they basically want to destroy his career because he had the audacity to want to look out for his career, and more importantly, he wanted to look out for his economic future. That's the main reason why the NFL is looking to punish Deshaun Watson because, like Colin Kaepernick before him, he had the audacity to ask for a trade from a team that was not going to the playoffs, which would mean a bigger payday for him and also lead to a further building of his brand. So he was looking to leave the Houston Texans. And since he decided to have the audacity to ask for a trade from one NFL slave plantation to another, the NFL Slave Owners Association, they decided to go out here and look to punish Deshaun Watson by going out here and making these allegations of sexual assault against him. Now, they hope to destroy your Deshaun Watson with a criminal charge. Unfortunately, the grand jury did not give them that criminal charge. So what they wanted to do was punish Deshaun Watson in their own kangaroo court. and they railroaded Deshaun Watson on these charges. And I find it interesting that one of the charges they make is they say that he participated in sexual assault, even though in the criminal court they said that no such assaults took place, and a grand jury basically cleared your Deshaun Watson of all charges. But the NFL uses this as one of the reasons to suspend Deshaun Watson for 6 games. And they do this again because they want to go out here and one, they want to try to say that Deshaun Watson is one of these black brutes that participates in sexual violence. And 2, they want to tarnish Deshaun Watson's reputation with a sex crime charge. They basically want to destroy his professional reputation, and they also want to destroy his personal image. And again, this is deliberate because they are angry because, again, your Deshaun Watson only wanted to look out for his economic future, and they want to punish him and send a message that any black man who wants to go out here and think about empowering himself, they would go out of their way to punish him. This is what this is all about. This is not about anything but trying to destroy a black man's reputation and his image, all because he is going to go out here and look out for himself, because the NFL plantation slave owners, they don't want any black man to go out here and look out for his own economic future. They don't want him to have the freedom and autonomy to be a responsible black man. No, they just want a bunch of rich slaves on their plantation. And as long as you're chasing big butt white women and spending your money foolishly, they have no problem with you. But the minute you start talking about how you want to have your own control over your future, that's when the NFL has a problem with you. So when I look at this whole situation with Deshaun Watson, it's all about the NFL looking to destroy a black man, similar to the way Hollywood wanted to destroy Bill Cosby. And they want to destroy Deshaun Watson basically, again, because they don't like the idea of a black man being a free thinker, an independent thinker, and they don't especially want a black man thinking about money, because in the eyes of the white NFL owners, only white men are allowed to think about this. And again, we see a clear double standard because, again, your Ben Roethlisberger was not gone out here. They did not go out here and do this to Ben Roethlisberger, who was charged with a far more heinous crime. And them going to try to punish Deshaun Watson, even after getting an arbitrator to give them what they want, just again shows us how racist and white supremacist your NFL truly is.
And let me just say, to add to that, Shawn, right quick before you jump in, Bishop, Roethlisberger was not charged with rape, but I remember he was accused of it, and luckily, and he was able to. They didn't indict him, but yes, he was accused. He had actually about 2 or 3 rape charges in different states. Bishop, go ahead and jump in.
I mean, I agree with what Shawn says completely. Once again, it's nice to have a black history teacher. I mean, well, actually, a black history teacher. I'm trying to think of the course, but it was Black Action type of course at Temple University where I went to school. And the teacher taught us. He said, when a black person bucks up against authority, where authority feels threatened by them, what they do is 3 things. They either try to incorporate you within the structure, make you a part of the good old boys too, bring you into it, or if that doesn't work, they try to ruin your reputation. And if that doesn't work, they'll kill you. So many people don't go to the length of end up dying, except if you're Martin Luther King or Malcolm X, Medgar Evers, or the like. But most end up with that. Your reputation is tarnished to the point of no return. That's their procedure. If you don't fall in line, then your reputation is going to be tarnished, and your reputation hopefully will destroy your whole life in the process. I mean, once again, I mean, when I heard this, I thought about Michael Vick, who was the quarterback of the Eagles, and how he was accused of pitting dog, that dog thing and all of that. They took him down for years in order to, as a quarterback and all that. He was doing well in his career. Once again, when you go against the grain, whether you be Bill Cosby, whether you be a Prince, whether you be a Michael Jackson, when you go against the grain, when you go against the power structure, when you go against what they tell you to do, then you're going to have backlash. And the backlash is not going to be a slap on the wrist. It's going to be a backlash.
Right.
And anybody knows about slavery, know what I'm talking about. A backlash. That's what you're going to have. And this was happening with this young man.
Yeah. Let me say this too, because I put this up. This is not, this actual quote, I had to update it because it's not real. I thought Ben Roethlisberger had actually said that, but somebody had put it on there because there was a Bleacher Report watermark. I thought it was true. So let me reiterate. Ben Roethlisberger, from what I looked at in the record, he didn't actually make these remarks. Somebody else did. However, what I did indicate that just in case if he does say something like that, he would be, if set your ass up was a person, it would be him. But no, he didn't actually say this. It's from what I checked in the record. But because he was he is coy about some stuff, but he would be the last one to Ben Roethlisberger should not even comment on something like that if he did. But from what I looked at, he didn't say that. So just to reiterate, I had shared that earlier. But you got to be careful. Let me show this too. This was actually made news. Terrell Owens, T.O., the Hall of Famer, just tying this in with what we're talking about here. He filmed an encounter with a white woman that happened, and if I play it, I know that I'm gonna get something from some BS from TMZ about a copyright strike. So maybe I could just play it, but I can't show the video. Let me see. The cops had to actually get involved.
What's going on, folks? I'm driving to my mailbox. She telling me I'm speeding, telling me to slow down.
Uh-oh. Oh.
First of all, I didn't harass you. She telling me to slow down. I said, what do you mean slow down? I said, yo, I'm just going to the mailbox. Then she goes, get the fuck out of the middle of the road. First of all, I didn't almost hit you. Now you're just making up stuff. Just like a Karen. How did I almost hit you and I'm going to the mailbox? Yeah, I called you a Karen when I came over here after you said I called the police. Absolutely. Then you went on to say, oh, I'm the subject of the HOA meeting, this and that and the other. I got liens and shit on my house, this and that and the other. Then you start bringing up my status, who I was, my HBO, my VH1. You the one brought it up, lady. I did it. You did it. You did. First of all, I didn't almost hit her. Sir, no, I'm fine, sir. First of all, I didn't almost hit her. I understand that. Just relax. I'm not finna sit up here. He ran the stop sign. Well, there is no stop sign. What are you talking about?
I wasn't, but I asked him to slow down, and he got out of his car and started harassing me. He put his car in park.
Right, because you're gonna yell at me and telling me I'm almost hit you, and I didn't.
But you didn't have to get out of your fucking car.
You didn't have to talk to me that way either, Karen.
You're a black man approaching a white woman.
First of all, you had your boy right here, your husband right here. So first of all, I don't do that type of stuff.
You did. You put your car in park and you came at me.
First of all, I didn't come at you.
Yes, you did.
You can stop all of that, Karen. Okay, listen. Get out of here with all of that.
He literally came after me.
Here she crying. Here's Karen. Look at this. This is unbelievable. Swear to God, I've never been a part of nothing like this. I've seen it. I've seen it. I've seen it. Yes, I've seen it, but this is firsthand. Oh boy, oh, she's crying. Oh my God, this is real. This is real. This is real. Here you go. Here you go, sir. This is real. This is real. This is real. This is real. I've never seen. I've seen it, but I've never been a part of this. This is real life. And now she's crying. Her husband tried to tell her to go in the house, but now she wanted to do the whole Karen thing. So I'm gonna be here with my camera to show everything. First of all, you need to stop that.
You were speeding through the neighborhood.
He was not. I was in the garage. You're lying now because I was sitting in the garage.
She said I was speak. First of all, I know what you're saying. No, I get you. No, this is real. This is real life in 2022. This is real life Karen stuff.
Crying.
I've never seen. I've seen it on TV. I've seen it on video, but I've never really been a part of something like this. This is unbelievable. Then she brought up that I'm the subject of HOA. Said everybody's been talking about me, my house. I don't keep up with my house. I got liens. I don't pay my fines. Everything. How do I know? Because she told me. Karen.
What's her name?
Kate. Close enough, Kate. So when I drove by, she said she called the police. I was like, cool. I'm going to sit right here till they come.
T.O. was recording that. He's lucky. And there was another sister that came out who supported his version of events and saw what happened. But yeah, she said it. You're a black man approaching a white woman. We all heard that, didn't we?
Yep.
Yeah.
When are we going to get angry enough to respond in such a way that our response is going to be enough to let these people know that we're not going to take this anymore? When? What's going to have to happen for us to be recognized as a formidable foe and equal? When? What does we have to do that we haven't already done? That's the question I'm seeking to answer. Because I'm tired of wasting time with all this foolishness. The only thing these people understand is money. When you hurt them in their pockets, then they start to take notice. We got to stop bailing them out. Stop going to their establishments, to their businesses, support our own. So what is it we have to do? What is it we as a people have to do? And you saw how mobile the Black Lives Movement came over the last few years. When is it you're going to get a response like that, such that we don't have to go out or be afraid to go out or go somewhere because we're being mistreated?
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Richard, you and I are about the same age. We're in that 70-year-old group.
Yeah.
And we remember the days when our communities were, I went to a black barber. I went to a black doctor. I went to a black church. My mother went to a black hairdresser. I went to a black barber. We went to a black dentist. We went to black stores, the fish market, the local stores. Maybe if you had a big thing, you had to go to Acme, one of those bigger stores, those supermarkets. But for the most part, our everyday life was in our community. And we've lost that somewhere along the way. I believe that's the hurtful thing that integration did do. It took us out of our communities and planted us into the other community where now we are beholden to, we look to, we want to aggregate ourselves towards it and become a part of it. We were happy. I know I was, and I know you were, growing up in our own communities. Yes, they were segregated. We lived on the hill. That's where all the black folk lived, on the hill. Or we lived on the other side of the track. One side was the white folk, but this side was our community. But we were happy there. Everything we needed was there. From spiritual things to food to everything that you could possibly think of. Entertainment, all of that was in our community. We didn't need to go out and try to appease and try to draw in to be accepted by a group that didn't want to be us to be accepted by. And now we've gotten to a place where we've lost community. I remember our ambition was to go to Howard University, to go to Spelman, to go to places like that. I know when I was coming along, we couldn't even go to the Hartford. We had to go to North Carolina Mutual to get our insurance. The black Gaskin down where you guys are, Alabama and Louisiana. Gaskin was the big wealthy black man that everybody went to for life insurance, health insurance, and all of that, because we couldn't get a piece of the rock. We weren't in the good hands of Allstate because they closed their hands to us. But we were okay with that. Now all of a sudden we're not okay with each other. We're now become our own rivals. We're not a community. We're rivals to each other. We're enemies to each other. We try to pull each other apart and pull each other down instead of building each other up like we used to do when we came along. We need to go back to that. You talk about make America great again. For Black America, that's where we need to go. Back to a place where we were a community, that we were actually a family of people in our communities. We need to go back to that. If we don't, we're never going to be accepted by them. Not the way we would like to be.
The phone lines are open, 656-6760, area code 504-656-6760. You can call in if you have questions before we get off tonight. We want to thank, first off, I want to thank Cheryl Massey for her contributions for tonight. Thank you, sister, for that. Where is Darius? I haven't seen Darius from Atlanta all night. He might be busy with something. Haven't seen DeAndre Mobley. I see Superstar Bella, Derek Bailey, some chick named Star. A couple of my regulars, of course, Computer Robots. He's always here every Thursday. Just about the same group of people. Black Voltron hasn't been here in a while. I wonder what's up with him. More phone lines are open. Somebody call in 656-6760. About your question?
Yeah. Where do we have to go?
Shawn, I think my father had a question. I wanted you to answer his question, Shawn.
All right.
Yeah, about where do we go and what do we have to do?
Well, where do we go from here? We have to start going out and not really spending our money with these people. And we also have to check these Karens. What we're seeing now is that more and more people are standing up to these Karens and these other racists out here. And we need to keep doing that in addition to controlling our dollars, because the more we stand up to them, the more we expose these kinds of racists and their insidious racist behavior. And we also have to follow through by punishing them. We can't be like these cowards like the DA in New York, Alvin Bragg, or that bootlick Christian Cooper who give passes to these women. These women need to be held accountable for their actions. And that's how you stop this kind of behavior. You stop it with a two-pronged attack. One, by checking these women, and then by holding your wallet, and then following through. Because if we don't set a boundary for this out of control behavior, we're not going to be able to stop it, and it will escalate and get even worse.
We have a caller coming in. Hello, Cheryl.
Evening.
We're doing fine this evening. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Can you all hear her in the chat? Can everybody hear Cheryl? Cheryl, say something.
Hello.
I can hear him.
Chat room.
Okay, we can hear you.
Okay, I can't hear her well. I can hear her, but I can't hear her.
Bishop Scott, and I agree with everything you said.
Maybe I turn it up. Maybe I turn it up.
I'm 66 years old, so I know it. To be black community. I just wanted to say also that, along the lines of what we're talking about the topics this evening, and that common thread in the whole situation, a white woman said, accusing black men of sexual assaults of some type. And I was also thinking about the Scottsboro boys who was accused of the same thing and who spent time in prison, most of their lives in prison. They escaped execution, but they were trying to execute, of course.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. What?
I was also wondering if you were aware of Abraham Bowden.
Yes, I know. I have his book. Matter of fact, shout out to our brother. I think he's watching, Ron Hurd, aka Mr. We All Be News. Ron has interviewed Abraham Bowden before. I've actually been in touch with Mr. Bowden. He was actually just pardoned by Joe Biden actually last year, because Mr. Bowden had went to federal prison on some charges. And he was the first Black Secret Service agent under the Kennedy detail, first in history. And he had to go through a lot of crap. But he was the one that warned his superiors that there was going to be an assassination attempt on President Kennedy. And those warnings fell on deaf ears, and sadly, the assassination happened. But Mr. Bolden was one of the first ones that exposed the conspiracy to kill the president. Now, so yeah, I'm very well aware of him, Ms. Cheryl.
I just think that's the story that needs to be brought out too, more and told. You know, there's to be a correlation with his trial and the way they handled his trial in terms of the injustice and how they railroaded
Dr.
So
Cosby.
just
Yeah.
let's say a type of comparison between the two trials. It was interesting to hear about his story. To make somebody to bring that story out more, his story out more also.
Yes. Well, have you bought the book, Cheryl, that I've written?
I don't see well, so I don't read. But I mean, I know there's audible books now, but
Oh, I haven't made it up.
yeah. So I don't get to read as much as I used to because I don't see well.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's the only problem
Yeah.
with that.
Well, yeah, we've talked about Dr. Cosby, what happened with Dr. Cosby, and of course, with Abraham Bolden. Yeah, we definitely need to. I want to try and get him to come on the show to talk, but yeah, he was actually pardoned earlier this year, back in May of 2022, by Joe Biden. So we're glad that his clemency petition was granted, regardless of how you feel about the Biden administration. Just like when Donald Trump pardoned Jack Johnson, I respected that because for Jack Johnson's family, they needed to have that closure. So I'm thankful for that. And I am thankful that Abraham Bolden was pardoned. So, yeah. But, yeah.
Just started out there. And also, I want to say that, I appreciate what you do. I think, you need to be more supportive. Leave comments on your comment section.
Yes,
there's like 32 people watching now. There's only like 10 likes. So, push the like button.
Yes.
You show up every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday along with Mr. James. And I think we all need to be a little more supportive. People comment, call in when you have the lines open. So I appreciate, what you're doing. And good to see Dr. Richard. Looks really well.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it, Cheryl.
Those are my random thoughts for this evening.
Thank you very much, man.
Thank you. You too. Have a good evening, Cheryl. Thank you. Cheryl always listens in and chimes in. We're thankful that she came in and talked. I don't have much further. If there is someone else that wants to call in, one last call I could take, that's fine. In the meantime, Shawn, why don't you plug in something, and then Bishop, you plug in what you do. Bishop has well, let me do Bishop first. Bishop, you have Real Talk with the G-Men.
Yes.
That comes on Wednesdays.
Yeah, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Every Wednesday, we have our program. Once again, we're talking about current event topics. We're talking about subjects. We have a commentary section where we talk about in a forum. Everyone it's open to chime in and to be a part of the program. Our call-in number, I'm gonna get that for you in a minute, is whatever it is. I always forget the call-in number offhand, but you can get to me on my Facebook page, Gerald Scott. Simply that, you'll see me in my regalia. I think I have my clergy on or something of that nature. It looks like what you're seeing here. It looks the same picture. So you can go to my Facebook page. You'll find the call-in number. We're on for about 2 hours, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Wednesday evening, and we are really happy to have anyone that wishes to be a part of the program. It's an open forum. We present topics and issues, both national and international, and we open up the lines for others to have their opinions, their viewpoints, their expertise, and the like. And we appreciate the opportunity, Gavin, to be on with you, and Shawn, and Dr. Rasan as well. Thank you all for allowing me to be a part of this.
Thank you, Bishop.
All right. Shawn.
All right. Well, we have less than 30 hours to go on the John Haynes Kickstarter. And if you want to pick up your copy of the first John Haynes comic on SJS Direct, you may do so by clicking or cutting and pasting the link that I'm going to post in the chat. And you can pick up your copy of the first John Haynes comic. Now, we have less than about 31 hours to go, and we are $35 away from hitting a milestone. And you can help me hit that milestone because, yes, less than 31 hours to go. It's $5 for a digital copy, $15 for a paper copy, and it would help me be able to continue producing more positive Black content. Now, in addition to the John Haynes at Kickstarter, I also have ISIS Legacy and East Team Horror of the Hyena Woman available in paperback and Kindle format on Amazon.com. And you can get those paperbacks and Kindle books on Amazon.com.
Right. I did want to just get your thoughts before we get out of here. Let me also plug in some stuff for me. You all can go to our Creole seasoning blend company, Nawny'sCreoleBlends.com. Try it on chicken, meat, or fish. Nawny's go great with every dish. And I'm sitting next to Nawny right here. And you all, of course, if you've checked it out, both Bishop and Shawn have gotten this seasoning. Bishop tells me he puts it on his roast.
Everything.
He puts it on everything.
Good.
Even my eggs in the morning.
Yeah, very good on eggs.
Even my eggs in the morning, I put it on that.
Shawn puts it on his turkey burgers.
Yeah. It's very good on poultry, and it's also good on beef as well.
Yeah, it's just good. It's delicious.
Yeah.
I would advise anybody who likes to have good eating to sprinkle a little bit out on your meat, on your poultry, on your dairy, anything you have. Pour a little bit of that on it, and you'll be surprised how much it enhances whatever dish you may be dishing out every night, every day, and even every morning. Good.
That's right.
Thank you, Bishop.
Thank you, Bishop. You can all go to our Patreon as well. I'm going to actually upload some videos from my sets that I've listed. Some of you probably saw a video I did earlier. I uploaded about this Mark Hall guy, that white supremacist that tried to run over those kids that were on bicycles out in Mississippi. But I'm going to put my comedy videos up on Patreon. So if you like to go to that, go to the Patreon link there. Subscribe to our Facebook page at Commonwealth Cause as we discuss the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby, the destruction of due process in the United States. I think Bishop said he is waiting for a paperback version. Huh?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
All right.
I'm probably gonna just get it because I like to get things. I don't like to hold off on stuff. So I'll probably be getting it sometime tomorrow.
We plan
I'll be going to Amazon and getting a copy.
We don't have the paper. I don't have the paperback yet. I've had an issue for some reason. I don't know what it is. We're trying to upload it to the paperback, and it keeps giving me an error, and I don't know what's happened. But
I might get the Kindle version.
The Kindle version, actually, I mean, it's more convenient, obviously, because it's right there. But
yeah, and a lot of my books now are in Kindle, so I think I'm just going to get it from the Kindle. I'll get mine from the Kindle edition.
Well, please.
And if it does come out any other way, I'll get it from my library.
And you all can go there. The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., the destruction of due process in the United States. My man, Computer Robots, I know you have the book. I assume that since I spoke last time, he was in chapter 7. You have finished reading it. I'm assuming. Of course, I don't like to assume because assume means you put ass in front of you.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's available now on Kindle. I did want to ask y'all briefly, right quick, the passings of Nichelle Nichols, who played Lieutenant Uhura on Star Trek, and basketball icon Bill Russell. They both died within 24 hours of each other. Bill Russell passed away on Sunday, and Nichelle Nichols passed away on Saturday. Her death was announced Sunday. What do you all think of their legacy in particular? Bill Russell being an icon in basketball, but also a civil rights icon, and Lieutenant Uhura representing the symbolism of Black excellence, actually, because she was the only Black not just black woman, but the only black on Star Trek at that time. And Gene Roddenberry was known for making a diverse cast, which is what he wanted. But what do y'all think of their legacies? And I'll start with you, Dad.
Well, I think Bill Cosby is one of the greatest.
I mean, Bill Russell.
Bill Russell is one of the greatest.
Well, Bill Cosby not dead yet.
Bill Russell is one of the greatest basketball players ever.
Yeah,
as evident by his 11 championship rings.
And look at that.
You know, you can't dispute the works of a man if they're right in front of you. And this man was an excellent ball player. He was an excellent coach.
Yeah. First black coach in the NBA.
Right. And he was very successful.
And won.
Very successful. And I think he should be revered as such. There should be nothing taken away from his legacy. I think as far as civil rights go, he, along with other athletes at the time, stood up at the time that black men needed to stand up in this country. And not just as one solo person, but as a group. And if you look at even to today, most athletes in every sport that we have is dominated by black men.
Yeah, yeah.
So we can't take from that.
But look how tall. Now, Ali is about 6'4", right?
Yeah.
But look how tall Bill Russell and Kareem dwarf over Muhammad Ali.
And look how tall Kareem is over Bill Russell.
Look how tall Will Chamberlain is.
Yeah.
Well, Will Chamberlain was he was 7'3", and Bill Russell was 6'9", and Kareem is 7'2". So they all were tall, very tall men. I enjoyed Bill Russell because he came along during my time growing up, and I love the exchange between him and Will Chamberlain. They had a great rivalry. Bill Russell and Will Chamberlain, they had a great rivalry, but they were really good friends. They really were good friends along the way as well. But I used to love those games. I remember when Muhammad Ali was stripped of his title, and how him and Jim Brown and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and some other athletes at that time weren't afraid to stand and even die if they had to stand for the rights of each other. So they were right there with him all the way, sitting in a conference room with them, supporting Muhammad Ali's position of not fighting for an enemy when he has enemies right here in the United States. And they were right there. They were bold. They were bold. They didn't care about what. And these are men that were legends that could have lost their legacy and stripped of all that they had, but they didn't care about that. They stood for the cause. Jim Brown was a famous football player. Kareem and Bill were famous basketball players. And of course, Muhammad Ali was one of the greatest of all times. I believe he was the greatest heavyweight champion of all time. And these men were willing to stand for their beliefs. So just as we celebrate him, Bill Russell, and his athletic abilities and his career and all of that, let's not forget the most significant thing that he did, and that was to stand up for the rights of African Americans and all Americans everywhere. And of course, we know our dear Uhura, Nichelle Nichols. She too was a great woman. And don't forget Mary Alice. She was a Tony-winning actress.
Oh yes.
She also was she was seen on Sanford and Son. She was seen on Good Times and other vehicles as well. She died at the age of 88 as well. So we want to remember all of them this week as we remember those who have left an indelible imprint in the lives of all of us. There she is right there.
Shawn, about Lieutenant Uhura and Bill Russell, if you want to just give a comment, please.
Well, I am deeply saddened to hear about the passing of Bill Russell. Now, he was before my generation as related to basketball, but he is an icon in basketball as being a part of that legendary Boston Celtics team and being the first black coach. And he has made great contributions to the legacy of basketball, and he will always be an icon to the NBA. Now, your Nichelle Nichols was the first lady of Black science fiction, as I see it, and she was an icon because with her portrayal of Lieutenant Uhura, she basically inspired generations of Black people to see a place for themselves in a world of science fiction and fantasy. Because when she played Lieutenant Uhura, she didn't think it was much of anything, but it had a big impact on generations because this was the first time we actually saw a black person in a futuristic setting, and it showed us that there was a place for black people in a futuristic world, and that black people could imagine themselves as being a part of a larger world. Now, your Nichelle Nichols further went on after Star Trek ended and went on to help with recruiting with NASA, and that brought us the first black astronaut and the black male astronaut and black female astronaut, Mae Jemison. So she's made a great contribution. She was a great lady, a great icon, and a great role model for generations, and she will sadly be missed, just like Mary Alice, who also passed away, another great lady in the world of acting. I'm sorry to see all of these legendary black people leave this earth, but now they are in a better place with the Most High.
Yeah, she was a gorgeous woman. Even as an elder, King Captain Kirk had his little chocolate medicine. Got this long Stardate full of decent. And all this boldly going on in this strange world with this big with this Lieutenant Uhura. She's introduced me to this interesting delicatessen that we found on Earth. It's called chicken and mac and cheese and collard greens. I've never had anything like that before. Oh man, but yeah, may she rest in peace. Oh, Knight Rider said Kareem was a coon now. Yeah, Kareem he's been saying a lot of stuff. Kareem is old. I think after starring in Airplane, Kareem's changed. Because Kareem was talking about Ice Cube, some stuff, and Ice Cube said, they gave Kareem 30 pieces of silver just to find me. What's wrong with that? Oh, nothing. Oh, okay. Well, since there's no other call, I think we're going to end it like that. But yeah, rest in peace to Bill Russell, Nichelle Nichols. Yeah, Bill Russell was ahead of my time. I grew up like Shawn with Michael Jordan and, Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen and Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley. I just want to say, I was better than all of them. I was better than the Lakers. I was better than Magic Johnson and the Lakers because, the Lakers, they were just overrated pretty boys, aren't they? They were just overrated, like street clothes. He gets cracked up when I do Barkley, at the street clothes Davis. So we go get out here, Skip. That's right, Skip. But I better not hear you say anything. This say Sharp 84, and we want to thank our brother Bishop Scott because I want to say this right now, Skip. Bishop Scott is the man. Bishop Scott comes to me all the time, and he supports this channel. I gotta say that, Skip, for everybody. Then I gotta shout out Shawn James because Shawn, he's a great man. Shawn, he gets his restitution. Shawn gonna get his restitution, just like Shay Sharp in his end zone. Shawn, we want to thank you for all you both of you for joining in, and we're gonna thank all of y'all for tuning in. And we just want to say thank you for tuning in tonight on Gavin Reesall Presents Random Topic Thursday, the hottest live stream on this channel, hotter than Shay Sizzle, hotter than Club Sizzle, hotter than Club Sizzle. So we're going to get out of here, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Please donate to the Cash App. Anytime we come on, we'll be back on Sunday. Now, before we go on out of here, Shay Sizzle going to play a little tune. It's called Get On Up. You got to buy Get On Up on iTunes and Spotify and Amazon. But go ahead, let's go on and get on up and get out of here. Thank you, Brother Shawn James. Thank you, Brother Bishop.
Thank you.
Shay Sizzle 84. I'm out. Peace. Peace.
Peace.
Girl, come on. Gotta dance to the beat, because on the dance floor is where we'll be. Show me what you got. Gotta feel the groove. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up. Right now the party's wasted. There's nothing much to do. But once the groove gets started, tell me, what do you have to lose? Just look into my eyes, girl, as we glide across the room. And what to my surprise now, the beat takes hold of you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really moving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up. Tell the DJ play the whispers. Rock steady in the mood. Put on earth, wind, and fire. Tonight we're gonna groove. Show me how you do the four corners. Electric slide or two. Hit the bus stop, I'll do the bunny hop, baby. It's really up to you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really grooving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up. Now, 2020 hasn't been the best year of all times. We've been dealing with death, the pandemic, racism, bad policing, and all the bad rhymes. But like Uncle Snoop once said, if you're breathing, you're achieving. So if you're ready, I need you all to get on up. Are you ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Get your butt on the dance floor. 5 and 6 and 7, 8. This jam we appreciate. We're gonna slide and step on the beat. On the dance floor is where we'll be. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up, baby. Yeah, gotta get on up. Come on, baby, gotta get on up, baby. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
Oh, y'all thought I was done. Y'all thought Shay Sharp was done. Oh, no, Shay Sharp ain't done. Shay Sharp got one more thing to say. Kirby Smart, you a punk ass. You a punk ass bitch. You talk about all these kids, Skip. He's talking about all these kids who won't get money. They want that paper. They want that restitution. And they ain't getting that restitution being at these PWIs. And now he want to complain, Skip, when his salary was big, when he was the offensive coordinator of the Sabres. He was the offensive coordinator of the Dragons. He was all of this thing, Skip. Oh, no. Kirby Smart, you coach Georgia. Your punk ass needs to shut up. Now let me go. I'm going to get my restitution, get my workout on. Shay Sizzle, out. 84, out. Peace, baby. Peace. That was great, Shannon. Thank you, Charles Balkan. Now let's go. Let's go eat a pizza, man. First, I'm trying to watch my pizza. You know, I'm gonna be on Live. I'm thinking of doing Live. I'm gonna make, $75 million earning, but it's gonna hurt me because I won't be able to talk about street clothes. I'll just be talking about golf all the damn time. Oh, Chuck, we will miss you here, but you gotta go. You gotta go. Thanks, Honor.